every time Bitcoin finds a bottom, it should be a little bit higher in percent supply and profit than the last time. Why? Because what is happening? Tourists are getting shaken out. People here for high time preference and for the wrong reasons are getting shaken out. Eventually, over time, you build a really, really strong base of people that are monetizing Bitcoin and saving in it with no intention to ever sell, to capitalize their family, to capitalize their business, to capitalize their life, right? And so every single time Bitcoin finds a bottom is slightly less percent supply and profit than last time because the capital base under it has gotten stronger. Okay, so the first bottom Bitcoin found in 2015 was a little under 40%. The next bottom in 2019 is 40%. The next bottom in 2023 is a little under 50%. Now we're approaching 50%. So if you're to say, is this the beginning of the bear market? Are we in for a lot more pain? Listen, I don't know what the bottom is going to be. Could we get another wick down into the 50Ks, into the 40Ks? Sure, I have no idea. Okay, I have no idea how much leverage is in the system. I have no idea who's about to blow up. Who knows? But
once more, Bitcoin has plunged into a period of intense volatility that is shaking out weak hands and testing market confidence. Under the surface, however, Jack Mallers perceives something quite different. These severe corrections are moments of truth, not failure, in his opinion. He contends that the instability of Bitcoin is a direct outcome of the collision between the rise of a better global monetary system and a broken one. According to Mallers, there are still many misconceptions about Bitcoin. It's not just another high-beta tech trade or speculative asset. It's a revolution in money. He concentrates on the long term, a globe engulfed in debt, currency devaluation, and systemic vulnerability, while traders are fixated on short-term price fluctuations. According to him, each correction eliminates speculation and unnecessary leverage, pushing Bitcoin closer to its actual function as autonomous, untainted currency. If you're intrigued by bold predictions and deep financial insights, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more engaging content. Thank you for your support and enjoy the video.
Oh, okay. I think this dip has a lot to do with Bitcoin's weird relationship with software technology. And I actually think that this dip is going to be really healthy for Bitcoin in the long term because inevitably, at some point, we're going to have to resolve of the fact that Bitcoin is trading like a tech stock, and it's not a tech stock. It's the best money in human history. And so at some point, we're going to have to grow out of that as an asset class, and we're going to have to mature through that. And I actually think that that might be happening right now, and albeit painful, absolutely necessary. Every dip is good for the longer cause of Bitcoin becoming the best money of all time. So this is short-term pain, and it's necessary. All of us Bitcoiners knew in the back of our mind, at some point, we were going to have to grow out of this relationship that we have with tech. Bitcoin's always moving with tech. It's not like gold yet. It isn't traded like gold yet. And that goes down to the people that own it. That's why. We need to shake these people out. These tourists need to get out of here, okay? And so Bitcoin traded like software because software owned it. Why Bitcoin got dragged down? Same investor base, same liquidity pools, same forced selling dynamics. When these guys were getting pinched, when they were deleveraging, when they were getting margin called, Bitcoin got hit. The really important point that I feel like I don't need to say to this audience, but is worth repeating, Bitcoin doesn't need what companies need. That's a fascinating thing. Bitcoin doesn't need high margins. It doesn't need buybacks. It doesn't need earnings. It doesn't need higher CapEx. It's not a company. It's not a tech stock. It's crazy that I have to say this out loud, but clearly Bitcoin is still misunderstood by the broader investment public. That's just a fact. And we now know this based on its recent performance in correlation to software. It's just a fact. So if anyone was questioning how early we were, we're so early that some of the largest capital pools in the world still don't understand what Bitcoin is. But this is a blessing in disguise, is my point. You guys know I'm an eternal optimist. I think the human condition is being an optimist. Believe in the future, okay? Yes, this dip is painful. To me, it's a huge buy opportunity. I'm scraping assets I don't need. I'm buy. I'll get into that in a second. But I do hope that this is the beginning. Now, I'm not saying tomorrow Bitcoin's not going to trade like software. This is the beginning, hopefully, of us closing this chapter of trading like tech and beginning a new chapter of trading like a hard asset, like the only finite asset you can get your hands on, like the best money in mankind's history. It's my hope, okay? Here's what I need you guys to understand. I think we are not in the beginning innings of pain. I think we're in the latter half of the pain. I'm not saying that that was the bottom. I'm not saying we're going to 100K. These things take time. That's okay. Okay, that's okay. We can do it. We're going to be fine. Okay. This is all healthy. It's all good. We had to wash out these tech bros at some point. I'm glad it's now than later. Okay. But I wanted to walk you guys through just visually why I think, according to data, we're closer to the end of this pain than you think. So first of all, the classic cartoon, the stay humble cartoon. Now, stay humble is usually when the price is way high. What's the opposite of stay humble? Stay convicted. But my point is, look yourself in the mirror and remind yourself, why are you in Bitcoin? What gave you conviction in the first place? Because I'll tell you guys this. The price dropping didn't change that there's going to be a block every 10 minutes on average. Didn't change the monetary policy. Didn't change the monetary properties. Nothing has changed, okay? This is why you have to not use too much leverage, not exceed your means, earn more than you spend, okay? Be responsible, be humble, always be stacking. Here's another thing. If you wanted to sell, now obviously hindsight's 2020, should have done it. Don't do it now is my point. At least, obviously do what you need to do, but I would advise against it. So the first chart, nothing more than a healthy correction. So if you just zoom out a little bit, the chart looks great. We made new all-time highs that we had previously set during the COVID era. We went up to 125,000. We're coming back down, finding some support and accumulation back around those all-time high levels between this $60,000 and $70,000 number. And I think we're going to be primed to make more all-time highs. The chart looks really healthy. Some more just chart porn, some data for your eyes. This is the longest oversold since weekly RSI peak in Bitcoin's history. Okay. So Bitcoin has now been oversold for 100 bars. So what I'll show you guys from here on out is why I think this is not the beginning of a bear market. As I've said before, I think Bitcoin's not been in a bull market for quite some time because I look at it measured in gold, not in dollars. Dollars distort your reality because they're printed out of thin air. So it really messes with how you view the world. How much is an egg really worth? How much is a house really worth? It's really hard when everything's measured in dollars. It's like wearing junk goggles. Okay, so I don't think Bitcoin has been in a bull market recently. It's been trending down against gold. If anything, I think we're in the back half innings of a bear market. I think the pain will subside soon. How do I know that? Well, let's look at this one. BTC percent of the supply in profit. Only 50% of active Bitcoins are in profit. That is insane. Bitcoin's at 70,000 and only half of Bitcoins owned are in profit. And by the way, if you look at this chart, in 2015, Bitcoin found a bottom when a little under 40% was in profit. Then a little above 40%. It found a bottom in 2019. And then in 2023, a little under 50%. Now it's a little over 50%.
Jack Mallers offers a straightforward yet impactful perspective on Bitcoin. Stop valuing it in dollars and instead consider it in gold. He makes the argument that inflation is the reason why the dollar is always depreciating. It is more difficult to determine what something is really worth when you price everything in a currency that is continuously losing value. Mallers contends that Bitcoin has truly seen a protracted bear market in contrast to gold. This suggests that this latest correction might be the last phase of a protracted time of suffering rather than the start of a collapse. Everything is altered by this change of viewpoint. It implies that Bitcoin might be getting ready for yet another period of multi-year expansion. However, Mallers also emphasizes a crucial point. Holding Bitcoin is more difficult than buying it or selling it. Most people find it difficult to be patient when things are volatile. He claims that this is the reason Bitcoin has the capacity to generate riches for generations to come, not because it's simple. Please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and enable post notifications for future Bitcoin, macroeconomic, and digital asset content before we go any further. Now, let's get into his powerful predictions.
And you have to ask yourself, okay, does that logically make sense? I actually think it's fascinating. Yes, every time Bitcoin finds a bottom, it should be a little bit higher in percent supply and profit than the last time. Why? Because what is happening? Tourists are getting shaken out. People here for high time preference and for the wrong reasons are getting shaken out. Eventually, over time, you build a really, really strong base of people that are monetizing Bitcoin and saving in it with no intention to ever sell, to capitalize their family, to capitalize their business, to capitalize their life, right? And so every single time Bitcoin finds a bottom is slightly less percent supply in profit than last time because the capital base under it has gotten stronger. Okay, so the first bottom Bitcoin found in 2015 was a little under 40%. The next bottom in 2019 is 40%. The next bottom in 2023 is a little under 50%. Now we're approaching 50%. So if you're to say, is this the beginning of the bear market? Are we in for a lot more pain? Listen, I don't know what the bottom is going to be. Could we get another wick down into the 50Ks, into the 40Ks? Sure, I have no idea. Okay, I have no idea how much leverage is in the system. I have no idea who's about to blow up. Who knows? But are we at the tail end of the bear market? Yes. According to data, yes. Hang in there. Hang in there. Hey, you're okay. You're going to be okay, guys. I mean, the sentiment online is insane. We're going to be okay. Okay, the capitulation has already begun. I am a subscriber to Checkmate Stuff. Highly recommend it. This tweet from him. Net profit and loss broken down by year of coin acquisition. The class of 2025 and 2026 have collectively puked out $1.5 billion a day in losses on the move lower. That's the equivalent to June 2022, which is FTX days. That's the $17,000 per Bitcoin. Capitulation has begun. We are in the thick of it. We are in the eye of the storm, baby. This is where the money is made. No pain, no gain. You better stiffen up that upper lip, motherfucker. Okay? You're going to survive. You're going to be okay. You want to come to this show and get a little bit of optimism and get a pep talk? Man up. Man up. You're okay. Okay? We're not in for another 2 years of pain. We're almost to the other side of it. Brace up. We're washing out the tech bros. Liquidity is rotating. Bitcoin's the scarcest thing you can get your hands on. This thing's going to reprice higher. Clench those cheeks. You're going to be okay. Okay. The Mayer multiple. The Mayer multiple just takes Bitcoin's price over the 200-day. Okay. So it's just trying to find how is Bitcoin's price performing against the trend. Okay. The Mayer multiple is approaching deep value, okay? Look at the bottom there. As low as these things have gotten when they found bottoms, we are approaching deep, deep, deep value. Meaning, can Bitcoin go lower? Sure. Can Bitcoin have already bottomed? Yes. Yes. This is the time to turn on your DCAs. This is the time to convert your paycheck into Bitcoin. This is the time to get some exposure. This is not the time to lose conviction. This is not the time. And listen, do what you want, right? I already know the Twitter clippers are going to clip this, but Jack's begging people to buy his bags. Do whatever you want, okay? Friend to friend, Bitcoiner to Bitcoiner, man to man, man to woman, woman to man, okay? I'm just trying to help you out. We are in the end innings. You're going to survive. The worst may be over, and if there's worse from here, it's not going to last much longer. We're living through the capitulation. We're in the deep value. The Bitcoin percentage in profit is at levels that makes a bottom. We're almost there. Sometimes it's really that simple. Look at the moving average in the Bitcoin price. We have entered a zone where it is historically really valuable to buy.
Jack Mallers ended his documentary with a heartfelt but assured statement. Surrender is where bottoms are made, and this terror is not the end. Using the Mayer multiple, which assesses whether Bitcoin is historically cheap or costly by comparing its price to its 200-day moving average, Mallers also underlined that the cryptocurrency may be approaching what is known as a deep value zone. He claims that Bitcoin is getting close to levels that have historically represented significant bottoms. He stated unequivocally that although it might have already bottomed, it might still go lower. Moments like this have only happened a few times in the last 10 years, and each time they resulted in significant recoveries. Mallers also addressed the notion that luck plays a role in Bitcoin's success. He clarified that it is very challenging to withstand criticism from politicians, the media, and financial experts, to hold through several 80% drawdowns, and to fight the temptation to sell during a crisis. The true difficulty with Bitcoin isn't buying it when everyone else says you're mistaken. He contends that long-term benefits come from that emotional fortitude. His main tipping point was straightforward and comforting. Although the agony is real, it probably won't endure forever. Leverage is being flushed out, assets are being repriced, and liquidity is getting tighter. Although this is unsettling, historically these are the times when opportunities arise. Remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and enable notifications if you thought his viewpoint was helpful so you don't miss any updates. We'd love to know what you think about the future of cryptocurrency markets, so please share your ideas in the comments section. We appreciate your time and hope to see you in the next video.